And what I'm going to do, first I'm going to hijack Steve's slot and do what I want to do rather than what Steve wanted to do. But I'm going to give you the most valuable insight that I can doing the job that I do at the moment. The job I do at the moment, I'm the Director of Safety and Assurance on the National Track Renewals Programme. And like Joel, I've been out on many a Saturday night with a spirit level across the 6 foot, dipping with a tape measure. And when I started this job last year, I thought to myself, well, where on earth do I start? You know, what are the risks? What should we be managing? And it didn't take me very long to establish where we needed to focus. This presentation here is predominantly angled towards safety, and in particular, P-way technicians, engineers, and how they act on the rail infrastructure. A quick survey, if I may. How many people here have been on site in the last 3 months? Hands up. Oh, that's quite good. Ideal. That's about 80%, I'd say, roughly. How many of you have reported a close call? That's not so good. That's about 5%. Okay. How many of you today took a stumble on those stairs? How many of you were holding the handrail? I saw a couple of people go over the stairs, and I saw reams of people coming down the stairs, not holding the handrail, but somebody in front of them had fallen down, and they still didn't hold the handrail. That is the next accident that would have happened. Somebody would have come down over those stairs. For me, it was a fitting reminder. A close call is the next accident that you prevent. So if you see something that's dangerous or could be dangerous, put your hand up and do something about it. Don't just walk past it. How many of you have seen something you think, don't think that's right? Somebody else will sort that. I didn't see that. I'll just keep going. So how many of you, and I'm not supposing for 1 minute I'm going to see a sea of hands go up, but I bet there are people there that have walked past things that you know in the past have hurt people on site. My plea is act. Do something about it. How many of you have heard of the Lifesaving rules? Okay. Good. That's probably about 60 or 70%. If you look at why we have the Lifesaving rules, in the last few years we have seriously injured and killed a number of people. And it's an unsustainable position. We cannot carry on hurting people. Morally, financially, legally, it's wrong. And we must act. And I know quite a few people in the audience here today that are asset managers, that are maintainers, that are renewals people. We must send everybody home safe every day. It's an absolute imperative. So I'm not going to go through the Lifesaving rules, and I put a few slides in here because I'm assuming it will get compiled into a document that you'll have after the conference. So I won't go through all the Lifesaving rules, but I just wanted to pick out a few things, and certainly something I've seen in the last 12 months with regard to P-way technicians. Incidentally, close calls, the very clever people at the Track Safety Alliance we've got 5,000 close calls that we've logged in the last 12 months, and you can see where the next accidents are going to happen. So I'm not going to go through all of those spikes, but you can see there, we generally break a bone every month. I can almost predict on a Monday morning what I'm going to have to deal with. It's like clockwork. We have people fall over pieces of rail. There's always rail on renewal sites, so keep out of the way of it. It's a simple thing that will save your ankles and save your feet. If you look at some of the spikes here, so this is where people have been honest. They put their hand up and they've said, "I'm not going to walk past. I'm going to do something about that." You get graphs like this, and then you get safety campaigns that are targeted on unsafe sites, untidy sites, and certain specific things that cause the next accident. We can all make a difference here. So what I've done is I have plotted what I think are the top safety risks in track renewals. We deliver about 20 or 30 jobs a week. We run the high output systems 5 nights a week, and we do a vast selection of plainline track renewals and S&C track renewals across the country. Our highest potential event is one of our workers gets hit by a train. And I see too many near misses. Later on, I'll touch on number 3, which is a track buckle. So the risk of a person being struck by a train. In Track Renewals, the last fatality was Jason Wilkinson in 2005. And there are people who sat here today who knew Jason, I think. Yeah. The last industry fatality on the track, that is, was in January. John Wright, Newark. In the last 12 months, we have had 12 confirmed near misses where people have got into a place of safety in insufficient time, and it's been recorded as a near miss. And some of them are multiples of people and 2 seconds in a place of safety. You start looking at those events and start trying to put some trends to it. High output track renewals, 8 of those 12 are on high output track renewals. Sorry, it's 15 if you had the alleged near misses. So 8 of those are on high output track renewals. No surprise there. 5 systems out, 5 nights a week, all the time, with adjacent lines open. It's the most busy program. So you could expect there to be more events on high output track renewals. Over 50% of it's on prep and follow-up, so it's not on the main event. It's the pre-surveys. It's the going there afterwards because we didn't get the job right first time and we've got to go and do some snagging. I know, we'll do it in a red zone because we can get a red zone to daylight, it's easy. Bang, near miss. Over 50% have involved engineers. So, like I said, I was a technician, P-Way Tech, done design, survey and all those kind of things. And over 50% of the events have involved like the jobs that I used to do. And I guess a fair amount of you have either done the job, will know people that have done the job, or will be working in teams of people or leading teams of people that do that job. So I'm an engineer, what the hell's this all got to do with me? Like I said, 15 people, at least 15, because some of those events were multiples of people. There's at least 15 people walking around in the country today that are lucky, really, really lucky. They are going to go home to their families and they probably won't even know how lucky they are. And my plea for you to act is, if you are a maintainer, and I know there's some maintainers in here today, and if you are an asset manager, and I've spoken to a couple of you working in asset management, if you know that a site that you want renewed is unsafe, speak to somebody and tell them. There might be an unsafe characteristic. It might be a lookout operated warning system radio black spot, or it might be a certain tight 6 foot, or a certain characteristic where one of your team may have had an event previously. Give somebody the benefit of your experience. Do something about it. If you are specifying track renewals, think about the people who've got to build it. Under law, and that's the CDM regulations, you are obliged to do that. We are obliged to do that. But just think about, when you're specifying a piece of work, think about the people and how they're going to build it. And ultimately, the people who build it are going to have to think about how it then gets maintained again. If you're designing, and I guess there are designers here, think about what you're designing and how the people are going to build it, how they're going to survey it, what happens afterwards, how the maintenance guy is going to maintain it. And there are risk registers. I spoke to a load of engineers, of which I guess I classify myself as one, who say, we've got a designer's risk register, we put engineering risks in there. Put all risks in there. Why is it just engineering risk? If you know about something in the hazard directory or somewhere else, put that in there as well. When you go for a stage gate meeting review and you know that something's not right, stop. Think about it and put it right. Don't just pass on to the next stage gate and pass that risk down the line. This is Smallmeads on the Wessex route. This is this time last year. You'll see in the distance there is a headlight coming towards. There is a surveyor. He got blown out by a lookout. What he didn't see, he was on the phone by the way. What he didn't see, he was moving out the way of the train coming towards him in the photograph, not knowing that there's another train at line speed, 75 mile an hour, going the other way. He was in a place of safety for 2 seconds. He was lucky. East Coast Main Line. Picture it, I can picture it myself. Group of people, technician, waiting for a Tampa. Tampa comes around the corner. Work group moved towards Tampa. Tampa couldn't stop. Near miss. This was the second day of me doing this job. Woodborough on the western route. Job in trouble. 6 o'clock in the morning. Job's overrunning. Open up the adjacent line for the first train from Bristol to London. P-Way technician in the tower cab of a Tampa. Jumps down to check the 6 foot measurement. Train coming the other way. Simple as that. This is how quite often I find about near misses. You get an email, and basically what you'll see is a train's done an emergency brake application, and this one here, we stood the site down. We got this notification. We stood the site down and said, guys, there's been a near miss here. One of you on this site, has obviously been in a place of danger, and we've had an emergency brake application by train. Please, will you talk to us and tell us what you were doing so we can learn more about that event? Nobody spoke. So we said, we're going to get the forward-facing camera footage from the train, which is what we did. There's somebody there. The following night, we gave an amnesty and said, guys, please talk to us, let us learn from this event. There were 4 other people as well that we couldn't actually see. And the guy said, well, the reason why I went out there was because 3 other people were out there. So there were 4 people in the place, and that's what we learned from that event. There's another one here. This is a T-22 walkthrough, so a pre-walkthrough with maintenance. In daylight, emergency brake application by train, somebody's not in a place of safety, so there's another one. Think about, when you're pre-scoping and prepping for renewals, what is your safe system of work? Another one, this is an alleged near miss. We can't prove either way. The gang say they're in a place of safety, the driver said that they weren't. I've treated it as if it was a real event. They were surveying. Mill Hill, another one there. This is February this year. The cost said to the lookout, move on up. Lookout thinks he said, come on in. Lookout turns round, walks back towards the work group, train on, work group still working, near miss. Lack of communication. But the guys on site, if you're working in a safe system of work, think about who is looking after you. Ultimately, it's you that's looking after you. Don't just abdicate your own personal responsibility. Think, am I really safe? Do those costs, or is the safe system work really safe? Think about it. Use your railway, I hate the words, common sense. But have a think about, are you really, really safe? This one is at Wolverton, February. Spot the surveying equipment in the hand of the guy. This train was travelling at 125 miles an hour, multiple people in a place of safety for 2 or 3 seconds. This was Taunton. That's the high output ballast cleaner. Technical guy measuring the 6 foot. They had a problem with the safe system of work, and the warning wasn't given clearly. Work group on the live side of the machine. Train turns up, luckily doing 20 miles an hour. From the footage that you can see there. But you can see there's multiple people and a P-way technician right in the line of fire with that train. Luckily, it was doing 20. Again, Ponder's End on Anglia. This was April, so not that long ago. Follow-up works to try and get a site taken over. I'll deal with takeover later on in the next presentation, but getting things right first time. This wasn't right first time, so this gang had to go out and clear up some snagging. They had a green zone booked and decided for some reason or another to work red zone instead. They weren't authorised to do that. That train was doing 80 miles an hour. They didn't have an authorised safe system of work. They were nearly hit by that train. Just a reminder to everybody, we've had near misses and a number of close calls. And for those of you who recognise that triangle, it kind of indicates a trend. And I guess you'll know what I'm on about. We've been lucky too many times. So let's not let our safe system of work is not luck. We've got to make it judgment. If you want to work for Network Rail, I can recommend it. Or if you want to work for a contractor that works for Network Rail, that's absolutely fine as well, or a consultant. This is our safety vision. We really mean it. If you want to, my strongest recommendation is, I'm not going to go through it here and now, we really are passionate about sending everyone home safe every day. Take the time when you get the packs after this event to have a look through it. And it really is up to you. You can hold the handrail when you come down those stairs. You can do something about a risk that you've seen on site. Don't walk past an unsafe act is quite hard to spot, but an unsafe condition, you can see things like a lid off a catch pit, a lid off the trough in. Do something about it. Do report a close call, because we can learn from those and we can target our safety campaigns to make sure that we let everybody know. If something doesn't feel right, stop and think about it, because it probably isn't right. If you're working within a safe system of work, really think to yourself, are you safe? When you have a brief from the cost, don't just think, he's all right, he knows what he's doing, I'll be all right. Because I've just shown you a load of photographs there where it wasn't all right. And really, really think about where is your safe place, what are you doing, Do you need to walk in the forefoot? Because if you don't, then don't. Never turn a blind eye, and lead by example. You can all do that, and we can predict and prevent the next accidents. It is possible. So make life-saving rule number 1, which is contact with trains. Make it your own, because it will save your life. I'm done. That's my opening gambit. So thank you very much.